review of the game?
I think it's really fun. I like that you can get through it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I like the silliness of the game.
Yeah, it's definitely got a really silly sense of humor.
It's pretty, I mean, it's violent, don't get me wrong. You're chopping off heads and stuff, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I feel like the fighting is satisfying.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I agree. I think, through classic emulators or just playing old games on, like, Xbox 360 or whatever, where you can play an old, beat 'em ups used to be an incredibly common
Right.
type of game. And more so than that, they were one of the few games where you could always count on there being a two-player
There you
mode.
go.
Like, all the way back, NES,
Right.
Super NES, Genesis, whatever. Beat 'em up games, Gauntlet. Beat 'em up games were always the games that you could count on being multiplayer.
Uh-huh.
That and, like, fighting games or racing games.
Right.
But you played this one together. Whereas fighting games and racing games, you would play against each other. And having gone back and played some of those games, like, you realize, first of all, and this is probably just kind of the case with a lot of old school games in general, but just to what extent it's like, go ahead and get the apple.
Oh, okay.
Every new game is really kind of like the same with a new coat of paint kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of those standard beat 'em up games, Golden Axe or whatever, like, they're, and even more further than that, though, is the extent to which every level in those games is really kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
And really every beat 'em up game's just got like some one concept or something that makes it different. It's like, oh, you use this kind of special, or there's these kinds of combos, or they turn into animals, or whatever. They summon demons, dragons.
Right.
This one's 4-player. Like, each one's got like some thing that it does, but they're really, really similar to each other. And that repetition, I didn't really feel it with this one so much. Like, I didn't really feel like it's like, oh, we're just going through the motions, another level.
Right. That's true. It's each one is fresh. Each enemy's a little bit different.
Yeah, the enemies are different. I could feel like what I would say about, I do like all the little bonus, the leveling up always makes things more engaging.
The animals are cool.
I felt like the bosses, it wasn't like bosses in other beat 'em up games where, like, if you don't, in a lot of other classic beat 'em up games, like, if you don't know exactly what you're doing, you're just gonna get pounded into the ground, and they're just trying to take your quarters, basically, is what's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
If you don't do it perfectly. Whereas these boss fights felt more like platforming bosses, where it's like, okay, there's a pattern, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. They weren't, like, blatantly unfair like a lot of other beat 'em up bosses.
I agree.
And yeah, the humor was funny and kind of inappropriate, but whatever. I do think, I don't know if there's like a harder difficulty level or something. I didn't really feel like we needed to know like combos and stuff.
No, I don't think that really makes a difference.
I mean, I'm sure it does. I'm sure it helps a little bit, but it's like I didn't really feel the need to block that much. You can just have 5 potions with you and make it through just about every level. And I'm sure there's like, people going for high scores or something that would make it more engaging, but I would have been more interested in there being like, even though I do feel like the levels are diverse, the enemies are diverse, like more like, oh, rewarding for different kinds of approaches to enemies.
I do wish there was a wider variety of weapons.
Yeah, something like that. I love the little guys that come with us and how they can kind of customize things.
Yeah, our little animal friends. I'm gonna need some health.
But yeah, I'd give the game like an 8.
Yeah, that's what I would have said.
I think it's fun. I think it's it's not something that you have to, even though you're leveling up and stuff, it's like, oh man, if somebody just picked up this game, I don't know if they can handle it. It's like, no, they could.
No, they totally could.
Like,
it's fun. It's challenging without being like daunting.
Yeah.
But it's also like casual enough, but not just like you said, you're going through the motions, you don't care. It's engaging.
Yeah. One of my favorite beat 'em up games, maybe the best one I've played, is like Lord of the Rings. One on like Xbox GameCube, which was like a 3D beat 'em up. But it was like the Two Towers one was really good, and then the Return of the King one was really good. And I really felt that game, they kind of nailed similar things going on. Your characters level up, you learn new moves, you can integrate your move. The fact that you integrate the combos, I actually didn't feel like the combos were as necessary in this game as they would have been in that game. Because you kind of like, the combos are an option, but I never really felt like I needed them. I'm sure that it would have made a difference against some of those guys that were more challenging, but that's the game it reminds me of more so. But the fact that you learn them over time, instead of just being like, oh, you can just do them whenever, kind of increases your interest in doing them, because it starts out where it's like, oh, it's XY is the combo, which is not really a combo, it's just press these two buttons,
Right.
And it's like, oh, you do that and it works, and you're like, oh crap, okay, and then you're kind of excited to try the next one.
Right.
And I don't think this game quite nailed that, because like I said, it's, I didn't feel like there was enough of a graphical indication of when you were actually doing the combos, or enough of a difference in how they worked to feel obligated to use them. Whereas in like that Lord of the Rings game I was talking about, it's like, you do a combo and it's like, oh, you killed him instantly. Or certain guys are really susceptible to certain kinds of attacks, so you can like go from struggling with a guy to killing him immediately.
Or like, I have no idea, whenever it's like critical hit, I'm like, what did I do to get that critical hit?
Yeah,
I have like literally no idea.
Yeah. But that's what I would say about the game. It's fun.
Yep, I recommend it.
I also do wish there was like more ways to integrate each other into things, because there are times when we get a guy between us, we're like batting him back and forth. It's like, ooh, that'd be cool if we could like, I mean, I guess if you're really good, you probably could time that.
True.
But yeah, it's a fun game. It's a quick play.
I feel like it wouldn't be as fun if you played it by yourself, though.
Oh no.
I feel like it would be really tedious playing it by yourself.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like playing this with 4 players, I think would be fun.
Yeah.